I'm Anil Kumar. Now let us review what we have learned in this unit, Analytical Geometry, Circles. Here are 4 very important questions. Solving them will ensure that you have learned all the concepts. The questions here are, question number 1. A circle with center at O, 2, 3 has a point B, 5, 7 on its diameter AB. Find the coordinates of the other point A. Question number 2. The point A8 lies on the circle of radius 10 and center at origin. Determine the values for A. Question 3. Graph of the circle defined by x square plus y square equals to 100 passes through the points P minus 8, 6 and Q 6, 8. Verify that the right bisector of the chord PQ passes through the center of the circle. The bonus question here is question 4. Find the equation of a tangent line through the point P minus 8, 6 on the circle x square plus y square equals to 100. I'd like you to pause the video, answer these questions, and then look into my suggestions. Now let me give you some hints. Question number 1, we are trying to look for the midpoint formula, right? So the formula for midpoint is that the midpoint is average of 2 extreme points, right? So x1 plus x2 divided by 2 and y1 plus y2 divided by 2. In this case, however, we are given the midpoint. So we have to find x2 and y2. Remember that, right? So this is xm and ym, midpoint, correct? So you have to rearrange and then do it. Question number 2. Here we are given circle with radius and center. That means equation of the circle should be x square plus y square equals to 10 square. You need to substitute y8 and find a, correct? That's it. Question number 3. Graph of this circle passes through given points. Verify right bisector. So right bisector. So for right bisector, you have to do 2 things. First, find midpoint. Then you have to find slope of PQ. Now right bisector means negative reciprocal, right? So that B equals to minus 1 over slope of PQ. And you know the midpoint, that gives you the equation, right? So if it is going through origin, you will get the equation as y equals to kx. That is the equation which will go through origin, right? When x is 0, y will be 0. Question number 4. Find the equation of tangent line through the point P minus 8, 6 on this circle. So basically the idea here is that, let me sketch and explain you the concept. So if I have a circle here, and we have taken the same circle in 3 of our questions. Let us say this is a circle and that's the point. So that's the tangent, right? So the concept basically is that from here it will be right angles. So there will be right angle. So you need to again apply the same concept. To get the slope of the line L, negative reciprocal from 0 to P, and you know this point P, so you can get the equation of line. As you know, slope of this tangent will be negative reciprocal of the slope of line joining PO, since radius and tangent will be at right angles, correct? And you can use the slope formula, slope M is equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, correct? So that completes our list of formulas which are going to be used in this particular set. I hope with this you should be in a good position to answer all these questions. Question number 1. A circle with center at O, 2, 3 has a point B, 5, 7 on its diameter AB. Find the coordinates of the other point A. Now in this question, we are given that the diameter, let me draw it straight. Diameter is AB whose midpoint is given to us and coordinates of B is given to us. With midpoint at O, which is 2, 3, and coordinates of B are given to us as 5, 7. We need to find coordinates of A. So let it be xy. How do we find this? So the strategy here is to use the midpoint formula, right? Now, the midpoint is average of the two extreme points, correct? So in general, if we have these points as x1, y1, and the other one as x2, y2, and the midpoint as, let's say, xm, ym, in that case, what are the coordinates for the midpoint? Well, the coordinates xm, ym are the average values, right? So you have to add these two, x1 plus x2 divided by 2 and y1 plus y2 divided by 2 to get the midpoint. So in this particular case, what you need to do is just to rearrange and find the endpoint. So I hope you got the concept. So you can now pause the video, answer the question, and then look into my suggestions. So as we said, the midpoints are given to us, which is 2 and 3. So this time 2 is equal to average of x and 5. So we'll do x plus 5 divided by 2. And as far as the y coordinate is concerned, 3 is the midpoint. So 3 is equal to y plus 7 divided by 2. So I hope that is absolutely clear. So we need to rearrange and get x and y. So we can cross multiply. You get 4 equals to x plus 5 or 4 minus 5 equal to x. So that gives you x as minus 1. On this side, 6 equals to y plus 7 and 6 minus 7 is y, which is also minus 1. So the coordinates for point A will be minus 1, minus 1. Is that clear? So that is how we could actually solve it. This is extremely important question, which we also did in 2.1. So I hope that helps. Now let's move on to question number 2. Question number 2. The point A8 lies on the circle of radius 10 and center at origin. Determine the value of A. So let's first write down the equation of the circle. We know radius is 10 and the center of the circle is at origin, that is 0, 0. So the equation is x square plus y square equals to 10 square, right? Or x square plus y square equals to 100. Now that's the equation. We are given the point A8 on the circle. So that means substituting the point, let's say P, A8, what do we get? We get A square plus y value of 8, 8 square equals to 100. 8 square is 64. So we could write this as 64 equals to 100. Or A square equals to 100 minus 64. So A square is basically equal to, if you take away this, you get 36. So what is A equals to? So let's write it down. So A is equals to square root of 36. And whenever you do square root, you have to always take both positive and negative values. So A has two values. It could be plus or minus 6. Do you see that? So it is very important to see that A has two values. Now let me sketch one here, circle. Center being at origin. And let's say this is the circle which has a radius of 10 units. So in that case, what we are saying is that the point y value is 8, right? So for y value being 8, let's say this is 10. So somewhere here, y value being 8, we got 2x values. Do you see that? minus 6 and plus 6. So that is how you could visualize. So I hope that is absolutely clear, right? Now let's take up question number 3. Question number 3. Graph of the circle defined by x square plus y square equals to 100 passes through the points P minus 8, 6 and Q 6, 8. Verify that the right bisector of the chord PQ passes through the center of the circle, right? So the situation is kind of like this. We have the circle with the radius of 10, since x square plus y square equals to 10 square, right? So this is the circle. And on this, we are given a chord PQ. Minus 8, 6, let's say this point, and 6, 8, let's say somewhere there, right? So let's say this is the chord, which is PQ. With the given coordinates. Now we need to verify that the right bisector of this chord passes through the center, right? So we have to verify that the right bisector passes through the center. This is what we have to verify. So I'd like you to pause the video, answer this question, and then look into my suggestions. Now, what we can do here is we can find the slope of PQ. Right bisector will be negative reciprocal slope, and we also need to find the midpoint, correct? So let's find first the midpoint. Let's call this midpoint as M. So let's say the coordinates for M will be average of these two, right? So it'll be minus 8 plus 6 divided by 2, the x value, and the y value will be 6 plus 8 divided by 2. So what we are doing in the first step is find midpoint. So we have taken average of those two coordinates to get the midpoint M. The value here is minus 2 divided by 2 is minus 1. 6 plus 8 is 14, so we get 7. So that is the coordinate for the midpoint. Now the second step is to find slope of PQ. Now in this case, slope formula is y2 minus y1. So we are finding slope of PQ, which is y2 minus y1. So the points are 6, 8 and minus 6. So we'll do 8 minus 6 divided by the x value, 6 minus minus 8. So 8 minus 6 gives us 2, and that gets added up. So it is 14 or 1 over 7. So that is the slope of PQ. So the perpendicular line slope will be what? Will be negative reciprocal. It will be minus 7, right? So perpendicular is negative reciprocal. So the equation of line, let's say this is line L. So the equation of line L will be y equals to slope of minus 7 x plus b, right? We need to find b, and this line will pass through the midpoint, which is minus 1, 7. And it's going through point M, which is minus 1, 7. Is that clear? Right? So let's substitute minus 1 and 7 here to find b. So when you substitute minus 1 and 7, what do you get? Minus 1 for x and 7 for y. So 7 equals to minus 7 times minus 1 plus b. So that gives you, bringing it to that side, we get 0. So b is 0. So clearly the equation of perpendicular bisector is what? Is y equals to minus 7x, correct? Since b equals to 0. We just found it here. Now this line, y equals to minus 7x, it passes through origin, right? So this has the x or y intercept at origin. If x is 0, y is 0. So this line will pass through origin. So I hope that is absolutely clear, right? Question number 4. Find the equation of a tangent line through the point P minus 8, 6 on the circle x square plus y square equals to 100. So I have purposely taken this particular circle. All questions are related with it. Here is our circle with center at the origin and radius of 10 units. 10 square is 100, right? This time what we need to do is to find equation of a tangent line through the point minus 8, 6. So somewhere there, right? So let me draw this tangent line. So we need to find equation of this line, and it goes through the point minus 8, 6. Here the center is at origin, and we know this radius is 10 units. Correct? So I'd like you to pause the video and answer this question. This is a very important question. Let's try to understand the concept now. Now if there is a tangent, then with the radius, it will always be at right angles. That is the concept, correct? So what we get here is that the slope of the line and slope of, let's say this point is P, right? OP. So we know that OP is perpendicular, that is a sign for perpendicular to tangent. Right? So let's call this line as L. So let's find the slope of OP. So slope of OP is using the formula y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Origin means 0, 0, right? So it is 6 minus 0 over minus 8 minus 0. That is 6 over 8 with a negative sign. Dividing by 2, we get 3 over 4 with a negative sign. Now slope of perpendicular is negative reciprocal. So it is negative of negative means positive 4 over 3. Makes sense? Our line has a positive slope. Now we have a point on this line which is minus 8, 6. So equation of tangent can be written as y equals to mx plus b, where m is given to us as 4 over 3, and we can find b with the help of the point P minus 8, 6. So let's substitute these values. So y value is 6. So we get this as 6 equals to m is 4 over 3. X value being minus 8 plus b, right? So solving, we get for b as this is negative. You can write this as 6 equals to 8 times 4 is 32. So minus 32 over 3 plus b, right? So from here we get b as equal to 6 plus 32 over 3. So that is how you could get the value of b. Now let's find b and write down the equation. Taking common denominator, we get 18 plus 32 over 3. So 8 plus 2, 10, 50 over 3. So that becomes the value of b. So we can write y equals to slope of 4 over 3, x, and b, y-intercept, 50 over 3, right? You could write it in standard form. Multiplying by 3, we get 3y equals to 4x plus 50. Or you could write this as 4x minus 3y plus 50 equals to 0, right? So that is how you could get equation of the tangent line. So I hope the concept is absolutely clear. The key here is that the tangent will be at right angles with the line joining the center. So with that, we come to an end, and I hope it helps you to review the concepts learned in this unit. Thanks for watching and all the best.